Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video is a discussion of my very favorite herbs for pregnancy. I get asked this question all the time, and this is my answer. We're going to keep it simple and easy because every pregnant person deserves for things to be just a little bit easier. But first, before we dive right in to anything, I want to make sure that I give you a little bit of context for what we're going to talk about. So much like pharmaceuticals, there is a major lack of data on the safety of ingesting botanicals to support health and wellness during pregnancy. So the information that we do lean on is definitely mostly from the inherited wisdom of traditional midwives, from case studies that come out of places around the world that really embrace botanical medicine as part of their pharmacopoeia, or as part of their kind of national system of healing and prescribing. And there are a limited number of randomized controlled trials on botanicals that give some context for pregnant people, but really it's not very ethically sound to put pregnant people in clinical trials and test the effects on their fetuses. So we are definitely working within major contexts of safety and caution. That said, if you go to any website like WebMD or somewhere online to look for information on the safety of herbs, you will get a very blanketed safety warning that guides against the ingestion of most herbs. But that's really sad because much of the plant world lends itself very beautifully to the childbearing year. So, with all of that said, I've picked 3 herbs that I recommend to virtually all of my pregnant clients because they are safe, they're supportive, they're restorative for basically everyone on the spectrum of gestational health. The very first herb that I want to discuss is oat straw. Oat straw is one of my very favorite nervines. What's a nervine? It is a herb that nourishes the nervous system. I recommend taking oat straw as a nourishing infusion, which means taking a big ounce of it, sticking it in a quart-sized jar, pouring hot boiling water over it and capping it, steeping it overnight, and drinking it over the next day. And you can take that on a daily basis. Oat straw is really soothing to the nervous system. It offers a massive amount of support for dealing with irritability, insomnia, general anxiety. They're just deeply restorative. Oat straw is as safe as eating oatmeal. It can be given to children and nursing babes. If you're breastfeeding, you don't have to worry about the safety of it coming through the breast milk and affecting your child. And I recommend, like I said, taking it daily for its cumulative effect on the nervous system. This is the very first herb I actually recommend to anybody that's dealing with generalized anxiety before hopping to some of the stronger herbs, because it just offers just a baseline level of support, which I think most pregnant people need. The second herb I like to cover is raspberry or red raspberry leaf. So this herb gets recommended quite often for either third trimester or just pregnancy in general without really understanding its effects. So I definitely wanted to include it. It is a uterine tonic. It's another one we want to take as an infusion. Now I know that there's a lot of products on the market that are just red raspberry leaf teas, and people steep them for 10 minutes and drink them occasionally. what I think is that we really need to focus on getting the extracts out of red raspberry leaf for the full benefit for pregnancy. It is thought to tone smooth muscle, which is the uterus. It assists in uterine irritability, so it really helps those later weeks in pregnancy where prodromal labor is kind of nagging along, especially in subsequent pregnancies. It's thought to shorten labor and just cause more effective contractions. And because it increases uterine tone, it has the possibility to decrease postpartum bleeding and help with uterine involution, which is the process of your uterus contracting back down to its pre-pregnancy size. There is conflicting advice about when to start consuming red raspberry leaf in pregnancy. So some people think it causes contractions and should be avoided in early pregnancy, but there's really, again, lack of data. There's no evidence to support this. My training is from a midwife, and so really it's up to you and your, risk aversion, but it's thought to be pretty safe in first trimester. And I would say from an emotional, psychological perspective, if you do have some anxiety from trying to conceive or multiple miscarriages or anything like that, it may be better for you to stay away from it. Not just, not because it could cause harm, but just because it's probably going to cause you kind of some mental anxiety and distress that's unnecessary. The next herb I definitely have to include, and this is number 3 on the list, we're keeping it very short and sweet, is nettle. This is a classic nourishing herb that's rich in iron, calcium, magnesium, and chlorophyll. Another one that's taken as an infusion. Are you sensing a theme here? Nourishing herbs all the way. So nettle is slightly diuretic. It's nourishing to the kidneys and the cardiovascular system. So really beautiful for supporting that increased fluid volume, that increased circulatory load, supporting people who have concerns about, lower extremity swelling, high blood pressure. Not to say that this is the herb that you're going to want to turn to address those issues once they're established, but it's going to help just support your pregnancy through having to kind of be uphill against symptoms like that. I do like nettle for preconception all the way through the 4th trimester and postpartum. It just keeps energy reserves well stocked, it keeps the blood strong, and it definitely enriches nutrition for baby if you are breastfeeding. So again, rich in iron, rich in minerals, and nettle is just a wonderfully supportive, nutritive herb to include. I really turn to it, honestly, for most people in general, but nettle definitely for pregnancy is a huge ally. Any other herbs that I address are on a case-by-case basis because you need to understand the intricacies of that individual pregnancy and that person's health history. I never just carte blanche recommend tonics, adaptogens, anxiolytics, things for anxiety to pregnant people without a full intake and understanding of their constitution, their lifestyle, and their clinical implications. I really like to keep it simple, safe, and nourishing always. So that said, I do recommend telling your provider which herbs you're taking, but don't be afraid to get a second opinion. There's a lack of training and information available, and honestly, just a lack of time that providers have to research this stuff, and honestly, truly a lack of information, and it's not available in the same ways that we've been taught as medical professionals to seek information out. So definitely seek a second opinion from either a provider, medical provider that, has a reputation of being well versed in botanical medicine, or a clinical herbalist in your area that specializes in pregnancy and the childbearing year. Do try to get your nourishing infusions in every day. They're safe to take that often. They're going to be a joy for you to include in your routine in your pregnancy, and it's just a really profound act of self-care. But certainly don't feel like you're failing if you start taking them late in your pregnancy or if you miss a chunk of time. This is definitely like a no shame zone, and perfection is an impossible ideal. So I just want to reinforce that. Do what you can. And then definitely do question if tinctures or tonics are necessary for you. There's a lot of just very general advice online, especially if clearly you're browsing the internet right now and you found me. There's a lot of information that doesn't apply to everybody. And so you really do want to don't start taking strong botanicals without a plan or without a partner in your health. So again, a clinical herbalist, a naturopath that's focused on botanicals, or a midwife that has a lot of experience. It kind of drives me bananas to go online and see all of the what should I do for this? And then just the one-line answers, because we really have to understand who you are and what you're bringing into your health and all of the things. Botanicals and herbs are a relationship, and they can be wonderful allies, but they should not be taken in the same spirit as, going to the drugstore and picking up a bottle of Tylenol. That said, if you do have questions about how to make a nourishing infusion, or how to make anything else like balms or tinctures or your own nourishing vinegars or honeys or anything like that, I do have a resource for you. And it is the Herbal Formula Cheat Sheet, which you can download for free by clicking the link in the description. It will give you all the indications of creating your own nourishing infusions. And then definitely, if you want to learn how I organize all my herbal knowledge, if you need a system for yourself, if you're one of those a little bit more advanced learners, or if you're just dying to break into your herbal path of education and discovery, go ahead and check out my plant medicine master list. It's how I organize everything. All right. Last word, everything I teach is with love and respect for the plants. If you decide to use this information to take charge of your health, that's amazing. I do just ask that you do so in the spirit of self-responsibility, and certainly corroborate this information on your own time. Please comment below with anything you think I missed, anything that you really gained, and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you soon.